going down. I know we're never gonna get enough, and maybe it's better to let it go. We'll never be the same. Tell me what you're going through. Won't you tell me all the things that you do? Tell me, make your wish come true. I
Hey, everybody, good morning. I'm here in the morning because some of these days work out like this. So hello. If anyone new shows up in the chat that hasn't been interviewed before, welcome to you too. I know there's monkeys just finishing up and I'm shilling over there while we're doing this. So anyway, it's FTG Thursday and I do have some FTGs today. Definitely decided to make that a part of the program today because, that's what Thursdays are for. So if you're not sure what FTG Thursday is, or someone comes in here and says, what the hell is FTG Thursday? Well, help them out. Good morning, by the way, Evil Ferret. Thank you for subscribing this morning. I'm glad you are here. But before I start the show, I got to play the intro, right, Johnny? Johnny, are you awake? Pay attention. It's time to play the intro. Play the intro. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. Okay, stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet, and welcome to the Dawg Knight Channel. If you are joining us from Monkey Stream, like Evil Ferret did, welcome if you have never been here before, because it's a whole different kind of thing. Oh, I got to put here. I'm gonna cheat again. Well, watch this. I'm gonna join me for FTG. If you don't know what FTG is, well, somebody will tell you. Anyway, it is, what is it? Thursday, the 12th of October, or August. I don't even know what month it is. The 12th of August, 2021. And I'm Marty, your host, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel. It's FTG Thursday, and because we just gotta, I open up a bunch of articles and tell you who to tell to F off, because it's just that kind of day for me, because everything in the news is just going crazy, and it's just how it is. But before I do that, I want to say good morning to those of you in the chat who are here early. 20 people already in the chat. That's fantastic. Hopefully my little hint over there will get 100 in here, but we'll see. It does. The regular crowd is really fun here, and you might even recognize some of the names. But while I am doing that, let me, I got to close this. Unpin, because it's already started. First in the chat today was my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Pony, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. And I better do my little, I already did. Do I do that disturb on my little soundboard here? Also, good morning to Fox P2. No, it is not afternoon. It is morning. Also, good morning, Jesse Leon. Why are you so angry? That is not a question. That is a name for those of you who are wondering. Jesse Leon's not angry, but why are you so angry? You might be asking me why I'm so angry. I'm not angry. I'm just ready. I'm ready to go at it today. Also, good morning, Selecta Boys in the house. Yeah, also, good morning to Lord Stanhope. How you doing? People's Front of Canada's here. Cashapp. Also, good morning to, let's see, I said Somnambule Nation. Evil Ferret, who I already said good morning to. Good morning, Crack. Nice to see you. Asian Research Directorate's in the house. Grillin' Pirate Pete. Good morning. I thought shows were moving to 3:30. Well, not every day. Okay, so those of you are wondering why he's asking that, because right now, my Lady Boomer and I have a little vehicle issue in that my truck is completely kaput until I can put a new engine in it. And I'm putting a new engine in because it's easier to put a new engine in than to buy a new truck right now, and it's much cheaper. So anyway, we're sharing a vehicle, and so our schedules are just kind of revolving around who has to be where when. But today and tomorrow, I will be in the morning at my normal time, which is right now. Also, good morning to It's a Llama. That's a new name. Nice to see you. Also, good morning to Spud Gun is in the house. Dom O'Leary's here. Jenna P. Good morning. Ken Lee. Hi. BG's in the house, and that looks like the extent of it. Did I miss anybody? I hope I got everybody. If I didn't, I will certainly figure it out and get to you. So do not fret. Tyler F's here. Thank goodness. How you doing? Also, real quick, a couple thank yous, or a thank you. Somebody already kicked out the stream on the Twitter machine today. Simon on Bold Nation, Jaeger Pony, thank you so much. And looks like people are starting to do the retweet thing and stuff. If you do not already follow me on social media, right up there, pretty much in anything you can think of. Twitter, Minds, Gab, Parler, what's that one? Getter, that's a new one. Cloud Hub, and also other platforms. So like Trovo, BitChute, Library or Odyssey, whichever you want to call it. Occasionally I stream on DLive. I'm if you need to find me, try PDawgKnight, because I pretty much anytime something new comes up, I just mark it out. And then I do also, if like, for example, some of my constituents in the chat are kicked off of certain social media platforms, so you can find me on the other one. So if you kicked off of Twitter, you can find me on Gab, or you can find me on Minds, or Parler, any of those. Or if you just don't like to hang out on those places, you can find me somewhere else. I do have a PDawgKnight Facebook page that I haven't checked in almost 2 years, so don't do that one. But if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's the only one where I am not at PDawgKnight. I'm Yes That Marty. Oh no, wait. No, on Instagram, Marty's, which one am I at? Yes That Marty. Yes, I'm Yes That Marty on Instagram. So, but I really don't do anything related to show on Instagram, mostly just pictures of places we go and cool stuff and whatever. So welcome to the show. If you're new, welcome back. If you're not, also good morning to Legit Low Talker. It's because Legit Low Talker is in the house. So anyway, let's get into FTG Thursday, because I got a bunch of them today. I was in my bookmarks this morning, or I've been bookmarking stuff this morning while I was at, what's that place called? UPS, where I work. And, I kill time by bookmarking stuff while I'm at work. And, damn, Democracy Now! Posted top news and headlines, decisions to say. Are you kidding me? This morning, this one popped out because I was thinking, what in God's name are they doing over there at the CDC? And it was fascinating. This is in the Independent. And I don't usually even. Oh no! I hate it when they do this. The Independent sucks. So let me try this real quick. Let me see if I can get it from the archive. The headline alone though stands out because it makes me want to give a big FTG. No one's even archived this yet. Well, here, let me just, you only need to see the headline or the tweet to explain why I'm annoyed with the CDC, which everyone should be. Good morning, Attack Alpaca, by the way. Here's the tweet and the headline of the article. CDC, the Center for Disease Control, says that cloth masks don't offer protection against smoke from wildfires. Now, I would imagine, what do you call it? Molecules from the 19. Now, if you're not have been here, the 19 is my code word for you know what, the 19. I'm just laughing because they're really pushing these things for school children who probably do I even say the words? School children may not be required from a health standpoint to need those things, those diapers, right? But everyone's trying to say, oh, they need to mandate the diapers for kids in schools, but they don't offer protection against smoke from wildfires? Let's see, here it is. Here's the article. As wildfires burn through the U.S., people may wonder if cloth masks popularized during the pandemic protect you from inhaling smoke. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention says no. Throughout the pandemic, cloth masks were hailed as a critical tool for preventing the 19 spreading. The fabric blocks respiratory droplets from entering and leaving the masks. Unless you got a kid who's always fiddling with their mask. Oh, but I digress. Despite the cloth. Now, and it's funny because now this is this line. Despite cloth's mask effectiveness at stemming 19 transmission, it does little to protect against smoke because the small harmful particles in smoke can pass through the cloth. Wait a minute. Aren't the particles and molecules, whatever, from the 19 smaller than smoke particles? I would think that for some, okay. Well, how to protect oneself from smoke has become a common question as wildfires continue to burn in California, Oregon, and whatever. All right, I'm not even going to read. I'll leave this article up in the archive version. But our first FTD today is definitely to the CDC. Oh, my goodness. How about you? Now, I was... and I skipped this over, but that was in my. I'll stick to the bookmarks first. Let's stay in the bookmarks because I want to get through make sure I get touch on these. Also, as I predicted, we've been talking a lot about Mario. It's not Mario Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo the last couple of days, right? So Andrew Cuomo, I was saying the other day. Here, I'm going to come back to you here. I was saying the other day that this whole Cuomo stepping down thing, I have the feeling, or had the feeling, and I still believe this, that this has nothing to do with his stepping down, has nothing to do with the sexual harassment allegations. Now, yes, the Attorney General of the state of New York, Letitia James, says they have evidence and mounds of witnesses and testimony and blah, 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 blah. I think, again, this is getting him off the hook for the great Meemaw massacre. Trademark, Ranting Monkey, and Jack Cochran. Because, and I said the other day that, they're gonna look, they're gonna let him step down. Because at first I thought he was going to try to ride this out and just because, Democrats are very good at weathering these types of scandals for the most part, except for Al Franken. They got him out of there. But I said that this is just a smokescreen to get him through the actual scandal, which is the hiding of the number of endings of the elderly that were in the homes for the elderly, that he created the problem and initiated the great Meemaw massacre, right? And you're not going to start hearing about that because they're only going to be talking about his sexual harassment suits and things like that. And he steps down, and what happens as soon as he says he's stepping down? He's obviously hasn't stepped down yet officially. Well, you're going to start talking about how great he handled things. That it's so sad because he was such an effective governor and he did things so well. And already, CBS News, sex abuse aside, many think Andrew Cuomo handled COVID-19 masterfully. So this is from Newsbusters. Aside from the sexual abuse allegations, many think Andrew Cuomo handled issues like the 19 masterfully. That was the totally out of touch claim from CBS This Morning journalist Ed O'Keefe on Wednesday as he tried to spin the legacy of the disgraced governor. O'Keefe, of course, made no mention of the Democrats' disastrous decision to create the Meemaw massacre. Yes, I'm editorializing here. To kill thousands of elderly by placing 19 positive patients into nursing homes. And so here's the example from MRC. Listen to this.
Ed, quickly before we let you go, when you look at the governor's legacy now, and it is tied to this, it is also the things that he did, how will people remember his time in office?
Well, I mean, there were a lot of things he did. Obviously, the pandemic. You talk to people in Albany or across the state, they say he did a masterful job of keeping the state safe and dealing with the situation and serving as a tonic to many people compared to the federal response, especially in those early weeks and months. And they credit him.
a masterful job of keeping people safe. Unless you were in a nursing home, and then, oh boy, good luck to you.
With, you know, a lot of major infrastructure projects across the state. They're rebuilding LaGuardia Airport. They've rebuilt other parts of the state as well, and he tried to buck up the economy. But you take his behavior in this situation, his alleged behavior, plus a host of scandals over the last several years. And they said
at
it
least
was
he
time
mentioned
to hold
more
him
scandals. Okay, so there you go. Quick FTG to CBS News and Ed O'Keefe. Real quick, good morning. Green Badger Outdoors, welcome, sir. Also, Jonathan Peterson and the Bosch Tubes in the house. Nice to see you. Did I miss anybody? No, I'm doing okay right now. Anyway, on that same kind of note, is this what Biden said too? Biden said some BS about what did Biden say about? Biden also was praising Cuomo, even though Biden was suggesting that Cuomo step down, but was talking about how his how great a job he was doing with the COVID stuff. And I'm just like, do you not remember just a few weeks, maybe months, not even a few months ago, a few weeks ago, they were finally starting to figure out that he covered up the actual number of people that were ended due to his policy of putting infected people in the nursing homes. Good God. Anyway, let's see. Just let me finish up the bookmarks here. Oh yeah, this one. This is another one. So, as you know, the Obamas had a bit of a party, right? You know, he had a birthday party, and you know, it was they had it out. It was outdoors, of course, except it was in a tent outdoors, and well, he's not the only one who was kind of flouting the rules. Also, Rashida Tlaib, and Muriel Bowser also seem to have been flirting the rules. So here's just from the Washington Examiner. By the way, if you're new here, or if you're not new here but you haven't used it before, everything that I talk about during the show will be in a single link in the description down below. I added during the outro where every single tab, every single video, every little thing, if you wanted to come back and reference it, it'll be in a single link called a one tab link, and it's immediately below the first paragraph of the description. Those will all be there. You click one link and every single article will be linked. It have several links in that. So there you go. So this is an interesting article from the Washington Examiner. It's an opinion piece. Tlaib and Bowser's hypocrisy is just realistic risk assessment alongside scaremongering. So Rashida Tlaib has joined a parade of high-profile Democrats flouting contentious rules or demands that apply to the rest of us. Tlaib, a Democratic congresswoman from Michigan, was at a packed wedding over the weekend, dancing unmasked in a crowd of similarly unmasked revelers. Only a week and a half ago, Washington, D.C.'s Muriel Bowser issued a mask mandate that immediately threw herself a massive unmasked birthday party. She had timed the mask mandate so it wouldn't affect her party, and then officiated a wedding with an indoor reception at which she and most of the guests were unmasked. Is that a shocker to anybody? Does that shock any of you? Bowser was guilty of much more than hypocrisy, I argued last week. She didn't merely falter and fail to live up to her own standards. Everyone does that. She made it crystal clear that she didn't believe vaccinated people, especially if they are surrounded by other vaccinated people, have good reason to wear masks, yet she forced everyone else to do it anyway. Tlaib made that perfectly clear too. She is vaccinated, and hang on a second here. Hang on. She is vaccinated. She has repeatedly stressed how loyal she is to the science. So when she goes and dances maskless at a wedding, she makes it very clear that she doesn't fear contracting or spreading the 19. Why doesn't she fear that? She knows the vaccine gives her and the people around her robust protection from any serious cases of the stupid 19. And so this guy puts on Twitter, the CDC's new guideline are inevitably turning vaccinated politicians into hypocrites because vax people, especially younger ones, know that they're at little risk from the 19 and are going to do things like this with their friends. So there she is, Rashida Tlaib, seen dancing at a wedding without mask after slamming Rand Paul. Oh, why aren't you wearing your diaper there, honey? Anyway, the problem is these hypocrites. The problem isn't these hypocrites were going maskless. The problem is that they dishonestly claim to believe that vaccinated people need to wear masks in all public and private indoor settings outside of their homes. So, yeah, there's all kinds of hypocrisy going around, but they get the FTG today. So FTG, Rashida Tlaib, and Muriel Bowser. All right, let's keep going here. What do I got? Let's get into some of the articles because there's a couple. Now I'm not gonna talk about it. Oh wait, this one. Here's one. ABC News. ABC. I will keep going on the tab. It's here. This is an interesting tweet because I saw this morning from ABC News. Now I don't know what to think about this one. So here they put out this tweet. Infectious disease specialists and pediatricians break down what parents need to know about kids and the face diapers as children prepare to head back to the classroom. Now, you know what? If parents want to send their kids back to the classroom, I'm fine with that. And if parents want to have their kids wear the diaper, I'm fine with that. But if you really find thinking about the science, it's like, or at least if you understand the statistics behind this, why? I don't know. I don't get it. But here's what ABC wants you to know about kids and face masks. And let me see if this makes sense to you. So, what to know about kids and face masks? ABC News spoke to several experts. Oh, several experts. Are all the experts in agreement? Anyway, I'm just curious, never know, on what parents need to know as unstabbed kids head back into the classroom. 1, the mask your child will wear is the best mask. Really? That's an interesting way to put it. So if there's some kind of mask they won't wear versus a mask they will wear, and the mask they will wear doesn't do anything for them, what's the point? Qu'est-ce que c'est le point? Right? Hello, Mike Savage. Blarg. Children do not need N95 or KN95 masks. What? Okay. Again, I ask. If only the N95 masks are effective, why wouldn't you? And this is so that you're doing this to protect the children. You're doing this to protect the teachers. You're doing to protect everyone in the school. But if they're not wearing the only masks that supposedly help, then what's the point of them wearing them? It doesn't protect anybody. And again, we also know that children, even who do contract this, tend not to spread it. But that's the CDC. I'm not saying please don't eat me, YouTube, but it's weird. And then it says, well, parents and kids need to regularly check the fit of the mask. But wait a minute. Now, if you know anything about mask use, like in a hospital setting, for example, once you put the mask on, you're not really supposed to touch it because you can contaminate the mask, right? But they're saying parents and kids need to regularly check the fit of the masks. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Also, face masks can be reworn by kids, but wash after each use. Now, in a hospital setting, I don't know, to reuse a mask, you'd have to have a sterilizing machine. What? A sun test can help check the quality of your child's mask. A sun test? Is this satire? What is a sun test? If you put the mask in, use the sun and see if you can see through it? Children can breathe and will not get sick from wearing face masks. I could have sworn there's a science behind that. Because also, send backups in case they get wet, dirty, or uncomfortable during the day. Where do you think your kid? Let's say it's your third. Let's say you're sending your third grader to school, right? Let's say you're sending your third grader to school, and you send them to school wearing their face diaper. And I like I said, I'm not against parents who do it. I think statistically seems to me, I don't know, it seems unnecessary, but that's just me. I don't have young kids anymore. But yeah, send your third grader to school, okay? And they notice this last one, send backups in case they get wet, dirty, or uncomfortable during the day. So the third grader has their mask, right? And they're wearing it, and they say it gets wet by accident. They accidentally forget to take it off when they try to drink water and the mask get wet, right? Where does your third grader, where's your third grader probably going to store their extra mask? And how much care do you think they're going to take with the new mask? Is it going to just be stuffed in their backpack somewhere where it's just getting other dirt and stuff on it? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry, but what is it? FTG ABC for that list. I'm sorry. Now there are people in the comments of this tweet. What? Don't control me. What? My rights. What? Okay, this is, I pay taxes, stop signs, obeying the law, but this is what I choose to cry about. So this is someone who's being sarcastic about people who disagree with this. But here, if they don't need N95s, then they are an accessory. Yeah, I would say that's just an accessory. Oh, here come the Twitter scientists who know better. Okay. I'm fearing the future of children has become more removed from childhood. I can see a lot of children growing into untrusting and reclusive, and how will that help? Just here for the Facebook doctors who have done 20 minutes of research. So they're mocking anyone who mocks this. I'm sorry. This line here, I thought everyone needed N95 masks. Now, why wouldn't children need N95 masks? I don't know why. I'm not sure why they would say that, but just seems very odd to me. All right, enough of that. Let's see. Oh, so you know there's a county in Maryland. It's the location of Martha's Vineyard, and Martha's Vineyard is a very, very exclusive, beautiful place to live if you can afford it. And I know that a former president of ours just had a birthday party there, and now this is a bit sarcastic, I would say, but I think it's funny. Dukes County, Maryland, which would be Martha's Vineyard's 14-day change in COVID cases, up 1,829%. Thanks, Obama. Oh, good God. I just thought that was funny. So I find little things funny on the internet. That wasn't really the next one I wanted to, but I do want to bring you if you're Canon Hotep, we just here every once in a while, and he has a new video out about the Cuomo family, or the Cuomo and their family members. Who I just thought, I'll play it here, and also I would go subscribe to Canon Hotep if you're interested. He's a good dude, and often shows up here on my Friday shows. But I thought this video is pretty good, so here we go. Oops, let me get this on the full screen correctly. And here's Canon Hotep's latest video.
We just gonna skate past all those dead nursing home patients. Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York. It's been the topic of discussion for the past couple of weeks. But now all of a sudden, it seems like the media is trying to throw him some bail. Why, you might ask? A few weeks ago, one of his staff members came out and said that they was lowballing the number of deaths in the nursing homes in New York. Now, why would they do that? Nursing home patients were being admitted to hospitals in New York and testing positive for COVID.
Oh, this is
but
for a while
instead
back.
of isolating them, they sent them back to the nursing homes that they came from. And you guessed it, they became super spreaders in those nursing homes. If we know this virus affects the elderly at a more rapid pace, why would you send sick patients back to the nursing home? Now, don't get me wrong, sexual harassment is a major offense. But I think that pales in comparison to being responsible for the death of over 15,000 nursing home patients. This man should be on trial for what he's done.
Yep.
But see, the mainstream media is the tail wagging the dog. To take the heat off of him for the nursing home deaths, they throw you another bone. Andrew Cuomo sexually assaults staffer. Andrew Cuomo tells reporter to eat the whole sausage. See, he probably won't face any jail time for sexual harassment.
Nope.
They'll just call for his job. There won't be any discovery for sexual harassment. There won't be any court hearings for sexual harassment. He owes an explanation to the family members of those people. But see, he's wearing the right gang colors. So all this is just going to get swept under the rug. And him potentially losing his job is just a slap on the wrist. Nobody's even talking about those nursing home patients anymore. This man needs to be held responsible for what he's done. Anyway, I just thought that I'd bring that to your attention. I found that kind of odd. Hope you guys are having a happy Tuesday. Oh,
all right. Oh,
and let's not forget about Big Gretch up there in Michigan.
All right, so go subscribe to Canon Hotep on YouTube and follow him on Twitter. Always insightful, as always. And then finally, what else? The last thing. Oh, this was funny. I saw this morning, and sometimes in the community, we like to take credit for other people's work and try to make a big, what would you say, a big deal about things that because we. What's the word? We try to live on the accomplishments of other people within the demographic. And I found this very interesting. So this guy puts up a table right here where he's talking about the medal table at the Olympic Games. Here, let me put it so it fits in the screen. And he says, just let this sink in. Oh, Africa. So he has up here, if you look at the medal table, the African diaspora, which would be 50 gold medals and whatever, is more than the United States and more than China and Japan. They would be first if you just counted the people from Africa and or the diaspora, meaning people who some descended from Africa, right? And I was thinking, okay, wait, because they're including people from other countries like the United States and Great Britain, whatever, who gained medals, right? And so put this up there. And so when I first glanced this, I'm like, you know what? One, that's great. If you're proud of the heritage and things like that. But then I looked at this, I go, well, wait a minute. What if they did this for Asia? Asia would be whooping everybody's ass because you would have you'd add China and Japan and most of Russia and India and Indonesia and all those other medal winners. And I'm like, oh, well, it's not so great. So I found it funny just as an aside here. And even this guy said, okay. But and I did actually respond as, hope nobody notices Asia could do the same thing and they would be way out ahead. So it's one of those pointless things that people do. So Seamus Derby, how you doing? Also Jen T's in the house. I see you there. Anyone else show up that I didn't see so far? Okay, not yet. So yeah, so I kind of want to say FTG to whoever made that table, but whatever. Thank you, Tyler F, for retweeting the show. And then let's see, you left a link in my DMs. Oh, on Twitter of a doctor speaking at the Mount Vernon School Board meeting. Oh yeah. Okay. I do have that link, and I think I might even bookmark that speech. I don't know right now. Yeah, here it is. It's a tweet from Alicia Starr. And so I don't really know if I want to put this on the show, because what I've found already, so Sebastian Gorka found this, and it's a doctor talking to let's see, who are they talking to? Mount Vernon. I don't know where Mount Vernon must be Virginia. Engage, educate, empower. I don't know if this is a city council or what. Hello, King on Common Law. Do I take a chance in this? So it's funny because when you look at Sebastian Gorka's feed for this video, they have one of those little Twitter disinformation things underneath. And so I'm concerned about this being labeled as disinformation. So here's what I'm going to do, especially on YouTube. And I don't want to get dinged for disinformation. But here's the link to this video. This doctor is talking about how everything being recommended by the CD and State Board of Health is actually contrary to all rules of science. Why is the stab that is supposedly so effective having a breakout in the middle of the summer? And he goes over why what we're doing to supposedly end the 19 is actually maybe exacerbating the problem. So there's the link in the chat. You can watch that video yourself. I will also have it in the list of links in the description down below. It'll be probably towards the end listed there, but I'm not gonna play on YouTube just because I don't need one of those strikes for disinformation. You know what I mean? All right, let's get into some of the articles that I pulled up today that are not on the link. First, we're going to start with President Joe Biden. So we got a report. One of the, those economic reports that come out all the time, and for some reason, Joe Biden on the consumer price index showing prices rising at the fastest pace since 2008. President Sundowner thinks that is a good monthly report. Oh, good Lord. President Joe Biden praised a report from the Department of Labor on Wednesday showing that the consumer price index rose year over year 5.4% for the month of July, again at the fastest level since 2008. According to the Wall Street Journal, consumer prices rose 5.4% in July from a year earlier at the same pace as in June, the highest 12-month rate since 2008, the Labor Department reported on Wednesday. On a monthly basis, however, price pressures weakened. The department's consumer price index climbed a seasonally adjusted 0.5% in July from June, a significantly slower pace than the 0.9% increase from June to May. So the massive inflation has slowed down a tiny bit, though well above the average of a 0.2% rate from 2000 to 2019. Joe Biden said, "Today, I'm pleased to share more good news with the American people. The latest consumer report on consumer price shows the prices show that we've expanded some easing excuse me, the expected easing we thought was going to come has increased, that we've seen a good monthly report. Yes, I read that verbatim. Monthly core consumer price index is down by nearly 2/3 from its pace over the past 3 months. And when you take out the goods directly impacted by the pandemic, like cars and airplane tickets, the monthly core consumer price index is less than 0.2%, Biden claimed. Jobs are up and monthly price increases have come down. Now, Anita Markowski, chief financial economist at Jefferies LLC, told the Wall Street Journal that a slight weakening of price pressures from June to July is not necessarily a sign that inflation is starting to slow down. No, we're still back in the 70s. In fact, there was a funny, who did it? I think Dave Burge, the Iowa Hawk blog, had a funny tweet. I'll see if I can find it in a second. It's like the equivalent of going from 104 degree to 101 degree fever. It's still elevated. It's just not as hot as what we saw in the prior 3 months. There's still some pressure in the pipeline that show up in the next few months. So let's see how well I did an imitation of the President of the United States here.
Today, I'm pleased to share more good news with the American people. The latest report on consumer prices show that we've expanded.
By the way, as he's speaking to you right now, keep in mind that he's reading off a teleprompter. Just saying.
Expanded some easing. The expected easing we thought was going to come has increased. That we've seen a good monthly report. Today, I'm pleased to share more good news with the American people. The latest report on consumer prices show that we've expanded some easing. The expected easing we thought was going to come has increased. That we've seen a good monthly report. Today, I'm pleased to share more good news with the American people.
Honestly, okay, wait a minute, hang on.
The latest report.
Stop. Yeah, it was that disjointed. So anyway, you try and figure out what exactly he said, but he's saying that it's good. It's a good report. Oh, God help us, FTG, Joe Biden. All right, let's move on. Let's see, what else do I have here? This is good news. Funny, this always happens to Republicans and doesn't happen to Democrats. The CDC has admitted it overcounted Florida's COVID cases by nearly 10,000. Counted the entire weekend as one day. Remember, I was saying that yesterday, that they're adding multiple days together and then trying to make it look like, oh my gosh, the cases went up this much in one day. Set your hair on fire. The CDC counted 3 days worth of COVID cases as having occurred on one day, falsely advancing the narrative that Florida's pro-freedom policies are failing. But you know what? Have y'all noticed that Ron DeSantis seems to be public enemy number one? Well, not public enemy number one, but certainly the media's enemy number one. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention admitted that it overcounted Florida's total stupid 19 cases last weekend, claiming that all of the cases from the entire weekend, 28,000, occurred on one day, and thus creating the appearance that the highly survivable disease was spiking under Florida Ron DeSantis' watch. In reality, the CDC, for some reason, failed to note that states do not report data for weekends until the following week, leading to a large number of total cases reported on the first day of the week. For some unknown reason, the Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Let me say this again. For some unknown reason, the CDC attributed Florida's entire number of new COVID cases to one day, Sunday, August 8th, instead of the entire weekend. This was used to claim that the state was reaching record numbers of infections. They just accidentally this may be the first double FTG of the day. FTG to the CDC. So there you go. All right, moving on. Lawmakers from an unusual alliance for a bipartisan bill targeting Apple and Google. Hey, this is actually, well, maybe this is good news. I just saw the headline. I'm like, oh, I haven't read this yet. So we're going to react to this in real time on the show today. Senators from both parties introduced a bill Wednesday targeting alleged anti-competitive conduct among Apple and Google app stores. Hey, that could be good. I don't know. Quantitative easing is never a good thing. No, it's not. The Open App Markets Act, introduced Wednesday by Republican Senators Marsha Blackburn, along with Democratic Senators Richard Blumenthal and Amy Klobuchar, would prevent app stores such as Google Play and Apple's App Store from requiring developers to use the tech giant's in-app payment system as a condition for distribution. Interesting. The bill would also stop Apple and Google from taking punitive action against developers who offer different pricing terms in other app stores. The legislation will tear down coercive anti-competition walls in the app economy, giving consumers more choices, and smaller startup tech companies have a fighting chance, Blumenthal said in the joint. So this is kind of a minor thing, but so for example, like if you have games that have in-app whatever, what do you call it? Things to buy while you're in the app. Apple and Google sometimes force those companies to run their payments through their own systems, and so they make money on those payments. And some developers want to be able to sell their app and then use their own system. So it is an anti-competitive practice that these senators are trying to do. I think they're. This seems so minor, but it's a start. I think there's a whole lot of things these companies do to basically snuff out any form of competition. So it's a start. I wish they'd work on some of the free speech shit, though. They don't seem to want to do that. At least one side of the aisle doesn't. Good morning, Gamer Valine. Nice to see you. I'm waiting for the eviction moratorium to end, and I need OPEC to cut their pace a hair more. Come on, housing market and oil. I wonder what you're invested in. Good morning, all you need. Also, nice to see you here. Welcome to the show. Real quick, let me do the shill, because I do that every once in a while. Probably not as much as I could. I should shill more on this show. As you know, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please, while you're here, while you're thinking about it, while I'm telling you, hit the like button. That always helps. It helps. Everything about sponsoring the show is not always monetary, okay? Share, like, those are great. Also, if you're watching a replay, or even if you're watching part of the show now and you're going to watch some of it later, whatever, throw a comment in the comment section. I guess that helps the algorithm. Someone said that, they like, for example, they had some stream up and they didn't have any comments. Then all of a sudden, the comment section came and they got like a bunch of more views. So I guess it helps. I don't know. I'm just a tiny little channel, and like I said, I wanted my goal to be up to 2,000 subscribers by the end of October. So even if you can help with that, just say, hey, go subscribe to that guy. That would be very helpful. Or if you share the stream and say, hey, this guy can be interesting sometimes. I'm assuming I'm interesting sometimes. So, just do that. So that would help a lot. And then also, if you want to actually be a monetary sponsor of the show, you can do that during the show. YouTube Super Chats are available. Oops, down there, somewhere in the chat over there. YouTube Super Chats are available. But if you don't want to give 30% of your dollar to Susan, you can always do Streamlabs, which I think it's popping up in the stream somewhere in here. Is there a Streamlab thing going? Yeah, it's there. Share the stream with people you interact with. It takes just a few clicks, starting with the share arrow down below. And then there's also the ones that says, you can join our Discord server too. That helps. But otherwise, go to PDawgKnight.live. That's where the Streamlabs thing is, in the upper right-hand corner of the page. Also, which I don't mention enough, the merch tab. Now, right now, the only merch line I have on that merch tab is the Resist Fascism apparel and coffee cups and things like that. And but I think that's an important one. If you want a Resist Fascism cup or t-shirt or hat, that's where you go. You go to PDawgKnight.live, merch link up in the upper right-hand corner. All right, let's now I got to get through a bunch of these now because I have tons of these today. Let's see, did we do this one? I'm not going to go through this article, but now if you were watching Monkey in the morning this morning, I got really mad when I saw this. I didn't even have this on my list, but he put a link to it, and I'm going to go through it too. American Express. this whole anti-racism con is really getting out of hand. It's kind of, I don't want to call it CRT, but it's kind of an offshoot of that. And American Express is jumping on this bandwagon, and it's just so weird to see companies do this. Because normally companies' job, especially corporations that have shareholders, their job is to, do what's best for their shareholders, right? They're not necessarily a social engineering function to being in business. You're in business to make money and make money for your investors. But this little ditty came up in the New York Post today. Lie of credit. American Express tells its workers that capitalism is racist.
That's racist!
American Express, which made a $2.3 billion with a B dollar profit last quarter, invited the great grandson of the Nation of Islam's founder to tell its employees that capitalism is evil. Well, congratulations, American Express. It was part of the credit card's giant critical race theory training program, which asks workers to deconstruct their racial and sexual identities, then rank themselves on a hierarchy of privilege. Now, as you know, Lady Boomer, they're doing this at where Lady Boomer works, and they had to do out this questionnaire of their privilege questionnaire, right? And Lady Boomer is of the, lighter skin, the less melanated, the melanated challenge variety of humans that live in the United States, whereas I am one of the melanin gifted humans in the United States. And you would think that after taking this survey, if we did the same survey, that somehow, because she is a white female, even though she's female, you would think that her privilege card would be much more highly stacked than my privilege card. But we went through them. It was weird because my privilege quotient was so much higher, even though I am of the melanated variety. And but anyway, that was just an aside. I just found it funny that when we took that thing, it's like, oh my God, I guess I have far more privilege. Part of it was she grew up with a single mom, trailer home, and they were poor. She grew up poor, and she worked her way out of that, and has a really great job, makes great money and whatnot now. But she grew up poor, and a lot of the questions on there, did you ever have times where you were worried that you weren't going to have a meal that day? And I didn't have that. I grew up with two working parents that lived a pretty good life growing up. Anyway. So according to a trove of documents reviewed, American Express executives created an internal anti-racism initiative after George Floyd's death last year, subjecting employees to a training program based on the core CRT tenets, including intersectionality, which reduces individuals to a tangle of racial, gender, and sexual identities that determine whether he is an oppressor or oppressed. Well, fantastic. Are you out of here? Why are you so angry? You have a wonderful day. Have a good day. And take it easy, Lord Stanhope. Have a good day at work. In a foundational session, the outside consulting firm Paradigm trained American Express employees to deconstruct their own intersectional identities, mapping their race, sexual orientation, body type, religion, disability status, age, gender identity. I wonder why they say gender identity. Because wouldn't it be just your gender? But no, gender identity and citizenship onto an official company worksheet. Good Lord. Employees could then determine whether they have privilege or are members of a marginalized group. White males presumably end up in the oppressor position, while racial and sexual minorities are considered oppressed. Well, wait a minute. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. So, wait a minute. White males.
You're fucking a white male!
White males presumably end up in the oppressor position, while racial and sexual minorities are considered oppressed. What is a sexual minority? What is a sexual? Because there are more women than men in the world, right? Technically, men are a sexual minority. I know what they mean. They're talking about the what do they call it? I wouldn't say the alternative sexual. They mean the sexuality minorities or gender. Delusion minorities. That's what they mean. Anyway, in a related session, traders instruct employees how to change their behavior in the office based on their relative position in the hierarchy. The traders provide a blue flowchart with specific rules for interacting with Black, female, and LGBT employees. If members of a subordinate group are present, workers should practice intersectional allyship and defer to them when speaking. What if they're stupid? Why would I defer to someone who's stupid if they have, or someone with a stupid idea? Why would I defer to anybody? You know what? How about having personal confidence training for people who are, oh my God, this is embarrassing. Okay, let me just tell you something. Here's my take on anti-racism. Anti-racism, though it sounds good, because they're really good at making labels for things, like Black Lives Matter. How can you argue with the title Black Lives Matter? Because then if you don't agree with that, well, then you're saying Black lives don't matter, right? It's a great label, even though the organization Black Lives Matter is garbage, even though the sentiment should be just a no-brainer, right? Well, this one too. Instead of you're not allowed to be not racist, you must be anti-racist. But think about it. If you're not anti-racist, then you're pro-racist, right? They label this in a way to make it sound like something that if you're not that, then you're a really bad person, even though the concept of anti-racism is basically just a form of affirmative action. Okay, it's just a new name for affirmative action. You take if you are to be anti-racist, you defer to, or you give people things based on their race and where they are in this oppression. Their oppression pyramid, the oppression stack, whatever. If the more oppressed they are, you should give them based on immutable, or some, I guess, not completely immutable when you go to gender identity, but immutable characteristics, and that's basically just a form of affirmative action. You're not doing it by any reason other than the race of that person, or the sexuality of that person, or the sex of that person, or the gender, whatever their gender thing they're doing this today is. It's not. It's an anti-merit quality. And one of the reasons that in critical race theory, they're completely against merit, they believe that meritocracy is white supremacy. Well, if you're saying meritocracy is white supremacy, aren't you kind of being a little racist too? Because guess what? If we go by merit in my life, where I do work and things I do, I'm always going to come out on top, because I always strive to be the best in the room at whatever I'm doing. So how is that white supremacy? I'm clearly not white, but in the in this anti-racist thing, that's the goal, is to be anti-racist. You defer to or you give things to people based on either their melanin content or their sexuality or whatever, and that's how you be anti-racist. And if you're against being an anti-racist, you know what you are? Yeah, you're pro-racist, because it's that they made the perfect catch-22 name for it. So anyway, in another handout, the instructions for white employees are even more explicit. Identify the privileges and advantages you have. Don't speak over members of the Black and African American community. It's not about your intent. It's about the impact you have on your colleague. Again, if you're in a group where you're trying to discuss things, you're trying to find the best solutions, I want the person with the best solutions talking. I don't give a rat's ass what their race is, how much their melanin content is, or if they dye their hair purple. If they have the best ideas, then they should be encouraged to speak. And everyone should be encouraged to speak. But if your idea is stupid, your idea is stupid, and I don't care what color you are. Even common phrases are subjected to race-based regulations. White employees are told not to utter phrases such as, "I don't see color." "We are all human beings, and everyone can succeed in this society if they work hard enough." All categorized as microaggressions. Well, I don't necessarily need people to say I don't see color, because you see color. You can't help but see color. But that has nothing to do with, hello, we are all human beings, and we all can succeed in this society. Can succeed in this society if we work hard enough. You can, I guarantee it. Oh my God. Anyway. Oh, at one high-profile anti-racism event, executives invited Khalil Muhammad, great-grandson of the Nation of Islam founder Elijah Muhammad, to lecture on race in corporate America. He argued that the system of capitalism was founded on racism and that racist logics and forms of domination have shaped Western society from the Industrial Revolution to the present. So, look, capitalism was never founded. First of all, capitalism was never founded. Capitalism is a word that Karl Marx came up to describe certain aspects of free market, free markets, which he believed that people had unfair advantages through, the economic class systems. Okay. So no, capitalism was never founded. Free markets have always existed throughout the world, and they just don't have necessarily a monetary system or a banking system to go with them. But free markets, trading is kind of a natural aspect of the human condition throughout time. Now, unfortunately, there have been places where they try to change how free markets work and how free association works. And so then we have things where we have socialism, communism, and whatnot. But I hate it when they say, "Oh, well, capitalism was founded on racism." Well, how so? Okay, were free trading markets throughout the world, throughout time, had anything to do with race? Now, granted, there have been certainly things that have happened in this country that have created. You're streaming at the regular time. You say I'm check your logic. And good morning, by the way. Or what was he saying there? The racist logics and form of domination have shaped Western society from the Industrial Revolution to the present. Well, not necessarily. There have been plenty of now let's granted, there were laws in this country that made impossible for people in certain areas of the country to participate in the free market system. Okay, no doubt about that. And our last 60 years, maybe even the last 100 years, we've been working to remedy that. But you don't remedy that by forcing other people to come down. You try to raise everyone else up. Otherwise, you do not have success. You stifle those who may already have some better ideas or have already worked to get to a point, rather than so bringing them down doesn't help anybody. I don't know if I made that what I'm clear there, but I'm not. You can check out the rest of this, and this is was this written by Christopher Rufo. He's the guy he's the guy on who's really pushing the anti-CRT movement. Writes a lot of articles about that. But anyway, we'll just finish with this. FTG, Amex, American Express. All right, let's move on. I have this article. I'm not going to go into it, but why the left needs Ron DeSantis to fail. They're on a full court press of Ron DeSantis. I think they're really worried about him doing well, possibly as a 2024 presidential candidate. Interesting article, but I'm going to skip it today. It will be in the link down below. Let's see. Oh, this guy. There's a California professor who's been accused of starting wildfires. And you know the giant wildfire that's happening out in California right now? This professor is being charged with some arson in those areas. Now, we don't know if it's actually part of the Dixon fires, but Gary Maynard, the California professor allegedly behind a number of wildfires raging in Northern California, is an anti-Trumper who said in a November interview that President Trump suffered from a malignant narcissistic personality disorder and could become violent and destructive in response to defeat. Federal prosecutors allege Maynard, who was arrested Saturday, intentionally tried to trap fire crews with his fires in rural Northern California. That's some sort of freaking evil right there. Donald Trump's here's a quote from him. What's his name? Maynard. Hang on here. Here's a quote. Donald Trump's lack of or unwillingness to self-reflect in order to self-improve, and his lack of empathy while being threatened with his first major public political and personal defeat might activate a sense of the need for the use of violence, violent protest by his supporters, or outright sabotage of the nation by locking down the economy or some other major act to damage the nation before he is forced to leave office if he loses, Maynard told left-wing journalist Charles Krause, who writes for The Globalist. The journalist posted an interview of Maynard accompanied by a grotesque caricatures of Trump on his blog, The Art Profiler. So there's that, the in-depth interview of the cult expert and sociologist, Dr. Gary Maynard. So Maynard, who said that Trump could do some major damage, is doing some major damage to himself and trying to kill some firefighters. So on that note, FTG, Gary Maynard, how dare they appropriate my white culture and the term capitalism? I mean, I'm not a Marxist, but dude was white. Yeah, Marx was white, wasn't he? Yeah, FTG to this jackhole. Brown shirts of Biden and Fauci, pastor. You know what? So apparently this rally in Portland recently I'm still a little confused about this. So this pastor who had this rally out in Portland, I don't know if he's kind of an agitator pastor or what, but whatever happened, they were having this prayer meeting out in Portland, right? And Antifa came and ambushed them and started mess with them and destroying their equipment, throwing their equipment in the river and stealing their food and stuff like that, just intimidating them and basically intimidate them out of the park where they were trying to, have their prayer meeting or whatever this thing was. Well, now this pastor is saying that the police kind of helped this conflict along. Kind of like Charlottesville. Remember Charlottesville when they had their little rally and then the police at the end of the rally kind of forced all the people at the rally into the counter protesters, and then all the fights broke out, and then we ended up with a woman dead from some knucklehead driving a car into the crowd, right? Well, the pastor who was maced by members of Antifa when they assaulted Christian worshipers in Portland over the weekend alleged the police were complicit in the ambush. Now, remember, this is Ted Wheeler's Portland, right? Pastor Arthur Pawlowski, who is doing a speaking tour across the United States, explained to Rebel News, video below, that the event, which had been organized by several local churches, was originally instructed to gather at the Battleship Oregon Memorial in downtown Portland. But later, the police contacted the organizers and they told them to move just a little bit to the side of the park. And behold, they said to Antifa to come and do whatever Antifa does in that location, Pawlowski said. Pawlowski went on to recount that 25 to 30 black-clad members of Antifa disrupted their service and threw they threw fireworks, smoke bombs, and rotten eggs into a crowd that included women and young children. Before even everything started, the police were watching this whole thing, seeing what was going on, and the women and children being attacked, and they did absolutely nothing, Pawlowski further alleged. Despite the incidents, Pawlowski went on to praise what he called the American spirit of liberty and resistance exhibited by those who stood their ground at the prayer service. But anyway, just, you know what? The whole city of Portland can take the FTG here. FTG to all of them, because it just doesn't surprise me at all that somehow the city would they didn't like the group that was coming in, so they kind of helped set this up a little bit and then didn't do anything to help these people. So if the police aren't willing to help, then F your old city, because your old city's going to go down. All right, let's see. Oh, this guy. Do you remember this guy? His name is Miles Taylor. Miles Taylor is he's a former, I guess he is part of the administration of the Trump administration. But then we found out that someone was writing anonymous op-eds to the New York Times, trashing the administration from within. Well, Miles Taylor is back in the news. Former anonymous Trump official says Trump supporters are a bigger threat than Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Great news for diehard Never Trumpers. Miles Taylor's has popped up again, this time going on MSNBC to warn people that the radicalized elements of the Republican Party now represent a bigger threat to our democracy than organizations like Al-Qaeda or ISIS ever did. What? It's as ridiculous as it is ominous, and it's clear from such over-the-top hyperbole and defamation that Miles Taylor and his ilk actually represent a bigger threat to our republic than anything they're fear-mongering about on MSNBC. In case you've already forgotten, most people have, Miles Taylor shot to a kind of fame in September 2018 when he wrote an anonymous op-ed in the New York Times that was one of the first open acknowledgments that there was a coterie of federal bureaucrats that is determined to thwart Trump's agenda by any means possible. I quote, "I am part of the resistance inside the Trump administration. I work for the president, but like-minded colleagues, and I have vowed to thwart parts of his agenda and his worst inclinations." Taylor followed that up in November 2019 with the ostentatiously anonymous book, A Warning, one of the first publications that became a cottage industry of Trump is stupid and evil books. The Warning was credited to a senior Trump administration official. Both the op-ed and the book gave rise to a great deal of speculation as to who the author really was. John Kelly, John Bolton, Mike Pence. The disappointment was palpable when Anonymous turned out to be not a senior Trump administration official at all, but just little Miles Taylor, a 30-something former chief of staff to the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. That's right, a non-entity. But Miles hates Trump, and that was his ticket. He became a CNN contributor and regular establishment media talking head, ever ready to stoke the fires of Trump derangement whenever called upon to do so. But Miles' latest MSNBC appearance was so outlandish, so extreme, and so utterly insane in its Trump's hatred that it suggests that the glamour of anonymous is wearing off, and Taylor is desperately casting about for a way to remain a media darling. His plan seems to be to throw ever larger rhetorical grenades. They don't have it here, but anyway, FTG Miles Taylor. You can F right off. What the hell is that? All right, I'm running out of time here, and I got a whole lot of tabs open. Oh, now here's something. This is actually not an FTG. I just saw this. That hey, they're actually putting someone in jail for some of the stuff from the last summer's Summer of Love. Hello, Mass Creation broadcast. This guy, serial dentist dodger. Oh, sometimes they throw me off with some of these descriptions. Serial dentist dodger Matthew Rupert, 29, of Galesburg, Illinois, was sentenced to almost 9 years in the Hooskow for his participation in last year's Antifa BLM commie hoopla in Minneapolis. He was convicted of handing out explosives and arson. Here's the kicker. He was stupid enough to boast about it while live streaming on Facebook. So oh, good Lord. Do you really want to see this picture? I could blow it up for you. Let's see. How did the cops know Rupert wasn't peacefully protesting? He brilliantly live streamed his crimes on Facebook for his friends back home. "We come to riot, boy," he's heard exclaiming via live stream. "I've got some bombs if some of y'all want to throw them back." Rupert drove roughly 400 miles from his hometown of Galesburg, Illinois, for the sole purpose of rioting and arson. He also used Facebook to try to round up a posse of fellow insurrectionists, posting, quote, "I'm going to Minneapolis tomorrow. Who coming? Only goons. I'm renting hotel rooms." Okay, so they're actually charging this guy, and he's going to spend 9 years in jail. One of 150,000 of these people that should be in jail. So anyway, all right. Oh, you know what? Actually, there is an FTG in there, isn't there? What's his name? Matthew Rupert. Here we go. Matthew Rupert, this FTG is for you. All right, how much time do I got? I'm running out of time. I've got to go through this. Just for this headline alone, you can read the rest if you want, but FTG, Mitch McConnell. I probably spelled it wrong. I left out an L, but close enough. They're all on video looting, rioting, and burning. Where are the rest of them? That's what I'm saying. Do you see the FBI notices out looking with pictures of thousands of rioters from multiple cities? I haven't. I sure haven't. All I know is that in some of these cities where the local governments have had them arrested, they were catch and release daily. Anyway, just for McConnell praising Joe Biden for a successful infrastructure deal, FTG Mitch McConnell, go F yourself. Now, this is interesting. Well, Manchin and Sinema stand strong against pressure to spend another $3.5 trillion. I think is that boat sailed? This is from yesterday, isn't it? I think that boat has sailed. Senator Joe I'm sorry, that's the regular budget. The $1.3 trillion is strictly the infrastructure part. Senator Joe Manchin is a blue dog Democrat out of political necessity. He is the lone Democrat representing a state in Washington, D.C., and that could be one of the most powerful people in Congress because of the evenly divided Senate. To move any radical legislation requiring a simple majority vote, Manchin must vote yes to allow Vice President Kamala Harris to break the tie. Arizona Kyrsten Sinema, who represents thoroughly purple Arizona, is in a similar political bind. She walks a fine line to avoid alienating her progressive base while not appearing so radical that moderates and independents seek a different option. Democrats also require her vote on a simple majority measure. Sinema was the leader during the recent bipartisan infrastructure bill negotiations. Manchin and 19 Republicans provided their votes to pass over $1 trillion in spending. That still just hurts my head. $1 trillion in spending. Oh boy. The legislation adds $2,900 per household to the national debt, which already cost each household $220,000. And obviously it'll never be paid off. It just won't ever. West Virginia and Arizona voters are sure to be excited by massive investments in electrical vehicle charging stations and green energy production. Are they? Valine? Are they? Arizona voters are excited about the electrical vehicle charging stations and green energy production. I'm curious. The legislation will allocate substantial funds towards mass transit, which only benefits large urban areas. The bill also enables an anti-car agenda, funding traffic calming programs and paving the way to a per-mile tax. Taxes, more taxes. By the way, taxation is violence. You know what? If you really want to read this, you can. I'm going to skip it because I'm running out of time, because I do have a couple more FTGs I got to get to, and most of these will be headline FTGs. Representative Ayanna Pressley takes a victory lap over over the infrastructure bill. After Senate Republicans helped pass President Biden's disastrous infrastructure bill, Representative Ayanna Pressley took a victory lap on Twitter by equating the left-wing cause for climate justice with infrastructure. Care is infrastructure. Climate justice is infrastructure. Housing is infrastructure, Pressley tweeted on Wednesday. Yes, because she thinks all those things should be free, but climate justice means that we'll be able to take more money from you. And we must meet the moment. On Tuesday, the U.S. Senate, okay, whatever. FTG Ayanna Pressley, I don't need to read about her anymore. Let's see. Oh, they passed an anti-CRT amendment after Manchin votes for the Republicans, but this is one of those things they added that I don't think this means anything. The Senate passed an amendment banning the use of federal funds to teach concepts associated with critical race theory in primary and secondary education during the late night vote-a-rama. Here's the problem with that, though. Most of the funding for education doesn't necessarily come from the federal government. I mean, yeah, there's federal programs for lunches and stuff like that, but this is meaningless. Democratic West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin voted with all 49 present Republicans to advance the amendment shortly after midnight Wednesday. And this is an amendment, too. It's an amendment, too. They can strip this out. Is this in the budget bill? What is this in? Yeah, they can strip this out, no problem, if they try to reconcile the two budgets. So, Tom Cotton, this evening the Senate passed my amendment to prevent federal funds from being used to promote critical race theory in schools. Really? That's a weird way to put it. To promote critical race theory in schools? Can't they just say, oh, we're not promoting it, we're just teaching it. We're just teaching what it is. I don't know. That seems dumb. You can check that out later. Let's see. Now, this is an opinion from the New York Post. Biden's infrastructure bill is chock full of anti-white racism. Oh, but I didn't think there's anything such thing as anti-white racism. Hang on a second. Let me check something real quick. All right. Okay. Well, let's see what this says. The infrastructure bill in the Senate passed Tuesday discriminates against white people at every turn. Americans are enthusiastic about spending money on physical infrastructure, bridges, roads, broadband, but this racist bill hands out jobs and contracts and locates projects based on race. Well, it's anti-racist, right? But this minority businesses and neighborhoods hold the inside track. If you're white, you are low priority. The bill includes grants to install solar and wind technologies and generate jobs in areas decimated by closing coal mines and coal-fired electric plants. Here's the catch. When contractors bid, the bill says minority-owned businesses will get selected first. Bad news for small-time white contractors in depressed areas. The same is true for the bill's proposal to improve traffic patterns in cities. Contractors and subcontractors get priority only if they're owned by minorities or women. White male business owners can take a hike. Okay, this is fascinating, and I haven't seen the bill, but if this is the case, is this kind of how they did the farmers in Zimbabwe, where they kind of forced all the white farmers off the lands, and then they started starving because there weren't enough farmers who knew how to work the lands, and then they wanted them to come back, but now it's kind of a lot of things in communism. You get some stupid things going on. Oh, I didn't realize my music was going on. There we go. Thank you, Gamer Valine, with the $9.99 through YouTube Super Chats, and thank you for being the first sponsor of the show today. Who says, Gamer Valine says, Phoenix Metro is 70 miles wide and has the largest nuclear plant in the U.S. Solar wouldn't have gotten the boot, and we wouldn't have a market value adjustment on Wranglers and Raptors if we cared. So, And so it's the largest solar plant in the U.S. Would you even need solar if you have well, you know how they are about nuclear, but I'm a firm believer that nuclear, if they really are serious about getting rid of fossil fuels, nuclear is probably the only way you're going to be able to generate enough power, especially for all the new electric car mandates. So anyway, interesting. Thank you, Gamer Valine. I appreciate you very much. All right, let me see here. I just saw this yesterday too, that the CDC is recommending 19 stabs for, quote, pregnant people, end quote, based on, quote, new evidence, end quote. On Wednesday, the Center for Disease Controls, this is going to be a third FTG to the CDC. Thank you, Gamer Valine, with another $4.99 for sponsoring the show. And even though it's not StreamYards, I'm giving you the...
you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor
Streamlabs
of the day.
Who says, we also are pushing against light rail and bus expansion in my area. So, yeah, no one cares. And for a very spread out metro like for Phoenix, I possibly could see bus expansion because buses are much more flexible, but this whole light rail thing, oh my God, it's just the efficiency and dollar per mile that you use for that is just ridiculous. And fight light rail all you can. We had that fight here in the Twin Cities, and we spent billions and billions and billions of dollars on two lines, one that goes from like the Mall of America to downtown Minneapolis, and then one goes from St. Paul to Minneapolis, back and forth. They do have some train lines from the western suburbs, but they're not light rail. But just the cost is out of this world. And the project in California went to dust because they ran out of money and didn't get anywhere. So F the light rail, I got to tell you. In fact, FTG light rail. All right. On Wednesday, the Center for Disease Controls and Prevention presented new evidence, which the federal agency believes strengthens its recommendation that, quote, pregnant people, you mean, dare I say it, pregnant women should get vaccinated against the 19. I said that really fast, didn't I? With vaccination rates low among pregnant women. Oh, they did say women this time. Ooh, I wonder if they're going to get in trouble for that. With vaccination rates low among pregnant women, the new guidance officially moves the CDC off its previously neutral stance on whether immunization is safe for them, noted the Washington Post. It comes 2 days after more than 20 health organizations urged vaccinations for pregnant women, those who have recently been pregnant, and those who plan to become pregnant. CDC recommends that this is a quote. This is a quote. The CDC recommends that pregnant people should be vaccinated against COVID-19 based on new evidence about the safety and effectiveness of the 19 vaccines, the CDC announced in a news release. Stupid 19 vaccination is recommended for all people 12 years and older, including people who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or trying to get pregnant now or might become pregnant in the future. Well, good news for my daughter, I guess. I don't know. According to groups including the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists and the American Academy of Pediatrics, pregnant individuals are at increased risk of severe stupid 19 infection, including death. While with cases rising as a result of the Delta variant, how do they know it's the Delta variant? The best way for pregnant individuals to protect themselves against potential harm from stupid 19 infection is to be stabbed. Let's see. Okay, so this is on their website. Let's see. The data suggests that benefits of receiving 19 vaccine outweigh any known or potential risks of vaccinations during pregnancy. The following data points are listed. No safety concerns were found in animal studies. No adverse pregnancy-related outcomes occurred in previous clinical trials that use the same stab platform as the Johnson & Johnson 19 vaccine. The 19 stabs do not cause infection, including in pregnant people or their babies. Early data on the safety of receiving an mRNA COVID-19 vaccine during pregnancy are reassuring. Early data suggests receiving the mRNA 19 vaccine during pregnancy reduces the risk for infection. And vaccination of pregnant people, they keep saying pregnant people, it just drives me nuts, builds antibodies that might protect their baby. Okay, they seem to think they have enough testing. I'm still saying you make your choices. Hopefully everyone stays safe. That's all I can say. All right. There was protests in Tennessee and Kentucky over mask mandates and forced vaccinations. A couple, and part of these were like, one was in a school district, I think. Protests erupted in Tennessee, Kentucky on Tuesday over school mask mandates and forced vaccinations. We want to have our own right and have our own decisions to decide to wear a mask or not. That's why I'm here today, and that's the right that I have to make that for my child as a recommendation, said parent Carrie Blair from Colliersville School District in Tennessee, according to WREG in Memphis. We want the freedom to raise our kids the way we see fit, and we're not going to allow the government to come along and tell us how to do it, another parent added. Here's Clay Travis from Barstool Sports, and why he's important on this, I don't know, but he says the anti-mask at school revolution is underway in Tennessee. There are people who couldn't get in the meeting tonight. They've never seen a crowd this big before for a school board meeting. So, I guess people are fighting against the band-aids. Now, there was one case in here where they had a video of someone who was protesting the band-aids who was threatening someone wearing a mask, or ridiculing and threatening somebody who did wear a mask. That's the only place where I say, how about just live and let live? If people want to still wear a mask, I'm not going to sit there and mock them. But I also don't want them to necessarily mandate it. I want people to be able to make smart choices on their own, and I don't know. My personal opinion of the mask is irrelevant right now. Yeah, I took the easy way out there. All right, I got to run out of time. We talked about this where Jen Psaki lied and said Trump told people to inject poison. No, he did not. We know that was a lie. We talked about that yesterday, but I'll leave the article up. This is the mistake over the weekend with Florida's COVID numbers. We already read another article on that. LA City Council unanimously votes for vaccination requirement for indoor public spaces. How about just FTG LA? Stupidity. Let's see what else. Oh, and Hawaii reimposes COVID restrictions despite 7-day average of 0 deaths with the virus. The state of Hawaii will be re-implementing limits on social gatherings and restrictions on businesses in order to stop the spread of stupid 19 cases, Democrat State Governor David Ige announced Wednesday. Now, here's why they're doing it. So their cases, their uptick in cases per capita is like one of the 2 or 3 highest states in the nation, but they've had 0 deaths. Over the 7-day average of deaths, 0. So they're reimposing some of the limits that they've been asking for people to do, or enforcing. Social gatherings will be limited to no more than 10 indoors, 25 outdoors. Patrons in restaurants, bars, establishments must remain seated with parties maintaining 6 feet of distance. No mingling and masks must be worn. No mingling and masks must be worn unless actively eating, the governor said in a statement posted on Twitter. See, they're going back to that restaurant rule because in restaurants, see, the miracle of eating does thwart any chance of you getting COVID-19. Thank you, Gamer Feline, for another almost 5, aka $4.99. He says, have you seen the French protests? Everyone can say white flag, but when the French revolt, they show that Antifa are amateurs. Oh yeah, they are serious about their protests regarding all this nonsense. I don't know if it's revolutionary-esque, but it is. They don't mess around when they protest. All right. Unfortunately, I got to go. There's this liberal professor who cried over lack of a mask mandate. You'll want to check that one out. I have a whole plethora of Daily Caller articles coming out of here. This is not good for Governor Cuomo. Maybe, though. Kathy Hochul hints that she will release New York nursing home data. So maybe, hey, look, I'm going to end on that one. You can find the other articles. But I want to give a round of applause to incoming Governor of New York, Kathy Hochul. She hinted Wednesday that the state government may release additional details on Democratic New York Governor Andrew Cuomo's nursing home scandal once she assumes office. You know what that is? Does anyone know what that is? I believe that would be called a shot across the bow should Andrew Cuomo decide to change his mind. I don't know if she'll really release any of the data. Hochul, who will be Cuomo's successor and New York's first female governor. Good morning, Sydney. I see you there. First female governor made the statement during her first press conference since Cuomo announced his impending resignation Tuesday. A reporter asked Hochul whether her administration would release additional data on the nursing home scandal, in which Cuomo ordered the state's nursing homes to accept COVID-19 patients, leading to thousands of deaths that his administration then undercounted. Will you release the nursing home data? A reporter asked. The nursing home data in the alleged cover-up, will you release it? My administration will be fully transparent when I am governor, Hochul responded. I am not governor yet. Okay, that's kind of a hedge there. And even though the merely slightest hedge possible, she did kind of hedge there. Here's her, how long is this? Now, we're not going to watch, here we go. This.
Just the nursing home data, will you release the nursing home data that in the alleged cover-up? Will you release it?
My administration will be fully transparent when I'm governor. I'm not governor yet.
Okay, so that was her answer. I'm not governor yet. Anyway, media has confirmed Cuomo's order led to more than 9,000 stupid 19 patients surging into the state's nursing home system. His administration also knowingly undercounted the 19 deaths in nursing homes and was later forced to revise its number up from 8,500 to 15,000. Okay, 10-1, she gets the boot very quickly with underage something. Interesting concept there, Gun Fox. I don't know. I'm not sure. Okay, let's say, I believe too, doesn't the New York governor have an election in 2022? I think they're up due for election. Quick question, and then we're going to get out of here. I think it's a dumb question on my part, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Does Kathy Hochul have a shot to be elected governor of New York after she assumes this office for, what is it? It'll be roughly 18 months until the next election. Does she have a shot? Or better yet, tell me something that Kathy Hochul will have to do to be a viable governor candidate in the state of New York over the next 18 months. Does her releasing the nursing home numbers help her, or does it hurt her? Because remember, she's been there 7 years, right? Has she been complicit in Cuomo's, this atmosphere of sexual harassment? Is she complicit in the fact that she is part of the administration that hid the numbers? Or will her releasing that information, where Cuomo demanded they did not, will that help her in a quest to possibly be a serious candidate for governor of New York? I was laughing because maybe Rudy Giuliani will run. That's a joke. But anyway. All right, gang. I am going to call it a day. What is this? Oh, that was the other thing. And we'll close that. Thank you, Simic Magic, for retweeting the show today. Again, ladies and gentlemen, before I go and before we actually do the official closeout, just a reminder that the Morning Night Live is very dependent on your help for spreading the news, because YouTube, being so small, YouTube doesn't spend a lot of time spreading my show. So I rely on you. So please, like button, share button, putting comments in the comments section helps the algorithm so that the channel will continue to grow. Still growing slowly, steadily, and completely with your help, and I greatly appreciate you. Also, thank you, Gamer Valine, sponsoring the show today, and also new subscriber Evil Ferret. Welcome to the crew. Welcome to the family. I hope everyone has a great day, but like I said, I am out of time here. I do have to go to that other job that I go to. So, please, it's Thursday too. I got to start thinking about what I'm going to do over the weekend. I might have to go pressure wash a deck. I decided that I'm going to take on a project that when we were up at our friend's cabin, her deck needs restaining, and the guy this is a weird story. So the guy that came to talk to her, we were there at the cabin, and he came to the cabin, and she's a woman who's just over 80 years old, right? And very close friends of ours. We go up there once a year, and the guy comes in. Now she called him, and because she found a little tag on one of the bulletin boards at the little shop down in the corner in the little town her cabin's nearby, and called him, and he's like, and she talked to him, and she's like, he says, like, yeah, I think I might have been one of the persons who stained your deck 7 years ago, right? And talking to her about it, never talked to either me or my wife. And so he makes an appointment while we just happen to be there. So we were there eating breakfast, and he comes up the stairs and into the screened in porch that we were eating breakfast in. And I said hi to him as he walked up the stairs. He didn't say anything to me. And then she said hi to him, and he started talking to her. And as he's talking to her, he hands me his business card. I'm like, okay, here's the business card. And our friend says, well, do you have another card for me? And I remember she's interviewing him to stain her deck in her cabin. And he says, well, I have some more down in the truck. So that kind of miffed her, because I wonder, this is an older guy too. And I just wonder if that was just one of those old fashioned, you're only going to give your card to the man kind of things. That was just kind of weird. And then I heard them discussing the the job, and she wants some very specific things done, and she's a take control person. She was one of the first women physicians, to graduate. One of the few women physicians who graduated from the University of Minnesota Medical School, and she did all this stuff, and she's a very accomplished woman, very accomplished. And I can hear them talking, and she's talking about, I want the deck stain and maybe the top rail, and he's like, well, I think you should, maybe you wanted those spindles stained too, and she's like, the spindles don't need staining, and she said, well, and he's like, well, maybe I just won't take this job, and she says, well, maybe you won't. Maybe I'll find someone else. And he was just kind of a jerk to her, and I'm like, oh my God. So anyway, and I told her, I'm like, I could do that job for free. You're a very close friend of ours, and so now we're probably going to be staining a deck. So, which is great. I love doing that kind of stuff. We'll go up there for another weekend at the cabin. Maybe I'll go pressure wash it this weekend, play a round of golf, and come back, and then we'll go back there in a week or so when it's fully dried out and stain the deck, and it'll be done. And she won't cost her anything but the cost of the stain, because that's the kind of guy I am. I like helping out my friends. So I don't know why I told that story, but anyway, it is time for me to go. Now I am out of time. So everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for participating in the chat. If you're lurking or working, I'm glad you're listening too. And also, if you're watching the replay, put a comment in the comment section. It always helps. Thank you, everybody. I got to go. My name's PDawgKnight. And I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is PDawgKnight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawgKnight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cashapp, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.